Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. If you've ever wondered why some relationships feel like, I don't know, a cozy warm blanket, while others feel like a never-ending tug of war, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're decoding celestial connections by really zooming in on the Taurus compass. Based on our comprehensive guide to Taurus compatibility, our main goal today is to figure out exactly how this super steady Earth sign interacts with the rest of the zodiac. Whether you're a Taurus yourself or you just have a beloved bull in your life, we're going to map out all these dynamics. So get comfortable and let's explore your celestial blueprint. Okay, let's dive right into this. Think of this as our compatibility compass. We're going to map our journey starting from the easiest, most natural matches and work our way all the way down to the most challenging ones. We'll meet the Taurus anchor, check out the top-tier soulmates, look at the growth partners, brave the challenging pairs, dive into the Scorpio mirror connection, and finally wrap up with some universal rules for success. But before we map those connections, we really need to understand our baseline, Taurus. They are the anchor of the zodiac. But what does that actually mean in practice? Well, it means they are highly sensual and deeply, deeply committed to building a life centered on comfort and security. They value loyalty above absolutely everything else. A Taurus has a very unique appreciation for the finer things in life. Think gourmet food, beautiful art, cozy environments, and they crave consistency. They aren't looking for wild emotional roller coasters, they just want a solid, reliable foundation. Which brings us right into our first group, top tier and emotional soulmates, the real happily ever afters. Now, you might be wondering, are Taurus and these specific signs truly compatible for that fairy tale happily ever after scenario? Can they really provide that immediate, deeply secure bond that a Taurus so desperately craves? The answer here is a resounding yes. Let's see who they are. For a Taurus, soulmates basically fall into two distinct categories. First up, we've got the Earth matches, Capricorn and Virgo. These signs offer a super practical, grounded connection that's built entirely on loyalty and shared long-term goals. It's almost like a love at first sight practical connection. Then we have the water matches, Cancer and Pisces. These are the nurturing, emotional soulmates who provide the intense affection and safety that a Taurus needs to finally let their guard down. But hey, even soulmates have a little friction, right? While Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are all practical, rational thinkers who love to save money and plan for the future, they share one huge hurdle: stubbornness. Both sides are highly opinionated fact checkers. When they disagree, it can literally feel like a court case of point proving. But because they operate on facts, they usually find a quick resolution. And honestly, as our source material notes, they share a very high sex drive, making the occasional debate well worth it in the end. And this brilliantly illustrates the same dynamic with their water sign soulmates, specifically Cancer. I mean, these two love to cuddle, eat good food, and binge movies. But consider their conflict styles. When a Taurus is upset, they default to the silent treatment. When a Cancer is hurt, they shut down emotionally and completely retreat into their shell. So for this harmonious match to actually last, they absolutely must learn to use solution-oriented communication instead of just building walls the second they get hurt. All right, moving on to our next tier, the growth partners. These are exciting, but a little tricky. So we have to ask, are Taurus and these highly dynamic signs actually compatible in the long term? This is where the friction really starts to heat up. What happens when the incredibly steady bull meets signs with a much higher outward-facing energy? With our growth partners, the core challenges are pretty distinct. With Aries, the clash is all about speed and the need for independence. With Leo, it's a battle over the spotlight. And with Libra, despite a shared ruling planet, the clashes center heavily around finances and flirting. These pairs share absolutely incredible passion, but as you'll see, they require some serious compromise to keep things on the rails. Let's break these down, starting with Aries. Taurus is very deliberate, likes to take their sweet time making decisions, and, let's be honest, can be quite possessive. Conversely, Aries is the impulsive ram who fiercely needs their independence. Actually, a Taurus's possessiveness might just cause the Aries to rebel completely. To combine Aries' drive with Taurus's incredible staying power, they have to be crystal clear from day one about what they both need to be happy. Next up is Leo. When these two fixed signs come together, it is a major, major match of wills. Taurus craves constant reassurance of love and just wants a nice, steady routine. Leo, on the other hand, wants the spotlight and is literally always striving for the exceptional. A Taurus might look at a Leo and think, wow, you are doing way too much, while a Leo might find the Taurus emotionally demanding or just plain boring.
They have to actively learn to admire each other's distinct approach to life to build a loyal bond. Now, what's really interesting here is the dynamic between Taurus and Libra. Both of these signs absolutely love beauty, art, and a super comfortable home environment. They have this immediate bond over their shared aesthetic taste. But financially, they clash hard. Taurus is a strict bargain saver, whereas Libra views money as a tool for freedom and social enjoyment, which definitely gives them a spendthrift reputation in the eyes of a Taurus. Add in Libra's natural flirtatiousness colliding with Taurus's possessiveness, and yeah, you can see why finding common ground on financial goals is totally mandatory here.
Up next, we have the challenging pairs. This is where things become an uphill battle.
It really forces us to ask, are Taurus and these highly independent signs compatible when it comes to the everyday, nitty-gritty of daily life? Preparing for a life with Gemini, Sagittarius, or Aquarius basically means preparing for a rocky, yet potentially transformative road.
The struggle with these pairs stems from fundamentally different worldviews. Gemini needs constant variety and freedom. Sagittarius operates with this boundless sky's the limit attitude. And Aquarius, they're the ultimate rebel of the Zodiac. All three of these signs view the steady, routine-loving Taurus lifestyle as super confining. Bridging this gap requires massive spiritual work from both partners. Initially, Taurus and Gemini have a super fun opposites attract dynamic. Taurus loves Gemini's quick wit, but here's the catch. Taurus is a doer who seeks stability, consistency, and expects actions to match words. Gemini thrives on freedom, variety, and constantly changing things up. Very quickly, a Taurus can view this inconsistency as untrustworthy or just deeply irritating. They have to establish a really solid foundation to avoid a rapid downhill slide.
Then we have Sagittarius. The contrast here is incredibly sharp. Taurus thrives on rules, budgeting, and meticulous planning for the future. Sagittarius loves nothing more than to break the rules. They can be incredibly blunt, and they often have a bit of a wandering eye for new experiences. This dynamic can instantly trigger major insecurities in a Taurus. When it's good, it's adventurous and amazing, but it requires both people to be totally 100% all in. And this brings us to Aquarius. Our source material describes this pairing as literally an argument waiting to happen. Why? Because a Taurus has a firm rule in love. Tell it to me straight and be specific. Aquarius, the rebel, operates under the philosophy, don't try to impose your rules on me. Aquarius values freedom above literally all else, which clashes violently with Taurus's need for clarity. It is always going to be an uphill battle against their shared stubbornness.
Finally, we arrive at the Scorpio mirror connection.
These two are polar opposites on the zodiac wheel. So, are Taurus and Scorpio compatible for the long haul? Let me tell you, this isn't just a simple attraction. It's a magnetic, almost dangerous pull between two incredibly stubborn forces. What makes this so fascinating is that despite seeing the world from completely opposing sides, they actually have more in common than most opposites. Both are intensely loyal and value deep, deep commitment. But here is the danger zone. Taurus wants full transparency and straightforwardness, while Scorpio is notoriously secretive, even as they demand total emotional devotion from their partner. Their distinct brands of jealousy and possessiveness can clash violently if they aren't super careful. If they fail to be open, it leads to what our source calls an eternal match of wills. So, the crucial point is this. A pact of total 100% honesty from day one is the absolute only way to prevent their mutual possessiveness from destroying this power couple. If they can manage that honesty, their physical connection and deep trust make them completely unbreakable. To wrap up our explainer today, let's look at the ultimate FAQ. Can Taurus have a successful relationship with any sign? Well, the data says yes, but only if they follow these three universal rules: clear communication, willful compromise, and mutual respect. Whether it's a soulmate or a really challenging pair, these three steps are the key. Which leaves us with a fascinating final thought to ponder. Are our astrological signs a strict life sentence that dictates exactly who we can love? Or are they simply a celestial blueprint that we are meant to master? Thank you so much for exploring with me today, and keep looking up.